All right, guys, welcome back into another NBA DFS slate. I got the preseason DFS picks for 12-16. This is actually going to be one that I like a little bit more. There's a lot more value, which, as you guys know, gets me a little bit more excited. This is going to be a little bit more difficult, though, I feel like, because there's not as many quality big names to pay out for because we don't exactly know which minutes that they are going to get. But needless to say, let's get into the slate for today. All right, so we're going to be starting it off with the Cleveland Cavaliers versus the New York Knicks. So this is a pretty interesting game to me in general, just because we're looking at the Cavs and the Knicks, who, they haven't exactly been killing it too much on paper. So I will say Darius Garland has been a decent producer so far in the preseason, had 22 minutes in their first game, and then he also had 29 minutes in their second game. The shot attempts have been there for him, 15 in his last game, and then also 11 in the game before that. He's been able to put us some solid production in the box score as well. So this is a guy where at 4.8, it makes a ton of sense. He should easily be able to hit value at this price point. And we know the Knicks, just in general, are not that good defensively, so I don't mind him as a play. I will say, Cedi Osman has been producing a little bit. I'm a little bit worried about that. And then I will say Isaac Okoro, let me find him here. He's actually looked pretty good. He's a guy that's played well thus far. 9 attempts in their first game, shot attempts, and then 7 shot attempts in their last game. He's a guy that had double-digit points each of the last 2 games, 15 and 18. He's kind of been padding the stat sheet as well. Anytime you guys can lock in right around 28 to 33 minutes, which is what he saw the last 2 games, and I think he'll get that again just because they're trying to get their young guys involved. I really don't mind that. The only other play worth mentioning would be kind of Thon Maker, although first game he played a lot. Last game he did not play at all. Very risky there for me, so I don't really want to play that. It will be interesting to see if someone like Andre Drummond does get involved a little bit more as well today for the Cavs. And that's really it on their side of the ball. Sure, you could kind of flirt with some other players in there, but really for me it's going to be Garland, and then also it's going to be Oroku there as well. So 2 players that I like. We'll have to kind of wait and see on the injury news side of it. If anything, that's only going to help Oroku a little bit more, hit value a little bit more there. Dodson, he'll get minutes. Don't really love it. Thon Maker, I already touched on him. Don't really love that as well. But he's a guy that would get enough minutes there for you to be able to, potentially profit. He'll get some rebounds and he'll get some points. I do really like the New York side of the ball, though. Actually, I kind of hate how much I like the New York side of the ball just because we're looking at it, and all these guys are kind of popping. You got Elfrid Payton, who has been playing well, 27 minutes in their first game. Then he also had over 20 minutes in their second game as well. He didn't really produce in his last game, but still, at this price point, I do like it. Going against the Cavs, all he needs is right around 20 minutes, and he's going to be able to go out and produce. If I had to fade someone in this game particularly, it would be Peyton, because I prefer some of the other players a little bit more, like RJ Barrett, who has been playing a ton. The thing we know about Tibbs is that he is going to play his starters a ton, and we've seen that so far with RJ Barrett in the first 2 games. Last game he had 36, and in the previous game he had 28. Been padding the stat sheet as well. 16 shot attempts in his first game, 17 in the game before that, or after that as well. So, Barrett there, he makes a ton of sense to me. He really does. And then Julius Randle, if we're going to get 30 to right around 30 minutes with him, he had 29 and 32 minutes. He's absolutely going to dominate, which he has done each of the last 2 games. I mean, putting up over 25 DK points in each game. I really like Julius Randle as a play tonight. I don't see Tibbs not playing their starters. Once again, that's just how he rolls. So Julius Randle at this price point almost seems like a lock. He really does. If we know that he's going to get those minutes, he would be a lock. Just, you never know that for sure with preseason, so you can't really say the lock word ever in preseason. Then the only other player I want to bring up is Nerlens Noel, because his minutes have been there as well, and for me, that's just something I can't pass up on. He's always been a career points per minute player, averaging right around 1.2 throughout his career. He gets the rebounds, he gets the points at 4.8. Wow, that is just way too cheap for someone that should play a ton tonight, so I really do like him as a play. And as you guys can see, a ton of value already just on the slate. We'll move on into the Chicago versus the Thunder game. So I'm going to start out with the Thunder because I don't really know what to expect from them. George Hill actually played a little bit, played well. Shai should be playing a little bit more, I would expect, tonight, but that is just really a gut feeling. I don't know if he is going to or not. Hasn't exactly played too much, right around 20 minutes in their one and only game. Played well, though. Just don't know what to expect from him minute-wise. I would expect that to go up a little bit more, but it does feel a little bit risky for me. Diallo here, they've been playing him a decent amount, or at least they did in their first game, 27 minutes. He played well, had double-digit rebounds, had double-double. We do like that as well, but I just don't know if that's going to be there for him. We don't have enough of that sample size. I would expect him to get a little bit more run, though, because he is a younger player. They'd want to get him a little bit more involved. Roby played well in their first game. He started 25 minutes, double-digit rebounds, has 7 points. Don't mind him. And then, you would expect Al Horford to get involved a little bit more. Wasn't available in their first game. They kind of want to test it out, I would think, but we just don't know with this young squad really what to expect. So for me, I'm kind of going to be staying away from them mostly. One of my favorite plays on the slate is actually Coby White, which, at the start of the day, that kind of surprised me, but the more you look into it, the more it does make some sense. So Coby White, he played well in their first game, 23 minutes, 15 points scored, and then he also was another guy in their last game where 32 minutes, 20 points. And the thing I like about him is that the shot attempts have been there 11 and 15. And really, that's what you want, obviously, in NBA DFS. So Coby White, I do like as a play. Then we can look at someone like Zach LaVine as well, who only 8 shot attempts in their first game, but still was able to score 12 points. And then he had a lot of minutes, 27 minutes in their last game, was able to score 23 points total, had 9 rebounds, 5 assists. Going against a younger OKC team, I really like that for Zach LaVine. So he's a guy that you can really fit in there and feel pretty good about. After that, for the Chicago side, not too much that I love. I will say Patrick Williams has been getting a decent amount of run, but hasn't exactly done much with it. But if you want to chase some minutes, don't mind it. I just don't love the price point there. Otto Porter Jr., he's a guy that can go off really on any game where he gets minutes. I expect him to get right around 25 minutes as well. After that, not much that I love. Wendell Carter you can go with if you want to, but I just would rather go with someone like Nerlens Noel on this slate so far. All right, now moving on into the games where we have to think about who we're going to pay up for. We'll start off on the Portland side of the ball. They really haven't been playing their big name guys all that much, which does worry you. They've only been playing right around 20 minutes or so, which, that is enough for them to be able to hit value, but just how much can they exceed that value? That's what really does worry me. So in their first game, they did play right around 20 minutes, and then in their second game, only right around 15 minutes for both Lillard and CJ McCollum. That's up to you guys what you want to do there. I just don't have a strong feeling about it. There is one standout play, though, in this game. I think it's Harry Giles, and he's playing a lot. 26 minutes in their last game. Then he also played 28 minutes in their previous game. He's had a double-double in both games as well, and the shot attempts have been there as well. He's shot the ball double-digit times in each game thus far this preseason at this price point. That is very intriguing to me. I think this is just absolutely way too cheap. Once again, I don't want to say the lock word, but you could easily fit him into your builds today and feel pretty good about it. But that's really it for Portland. Carmelo Anthony, if he's going to get in, he's probably going to shoot the ball around 7 times. He can get hot and hit value for you. And as Cantor, if he gets some minutes, obviously he's going to do fine. Yusuf Nurkic, if he gets right around 20 minutes, he could easily smash that. And he could put up 40 DK points in just 20 minutes. We've seen that with him, but all more risky plays. All right, moving on into the Denver side of the ball. Once again, don't really know what to expect from their studs. They did play a decent amount of minutes, but nothing too crazy. They've only had one game. They all played right around 20 minutes or so, which is enough for these guys to hit value. You saw Nikola Jokic really go off and dominate in their first preseason game. 26 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. Obviously, if he does that again tonight, he's going to smash for you. And really, I don't mind him, although I will say he has struggled against his former teammate in the past with Nurkic there. But still, I don't mind that. It's preseason. I don't think we have to worry about that too much. I would expect someone like Michael Porter to get a little bit more involved today. Maybe he gets an extra run with he's supposed to be starting, but he should get a little bit more extra run than some of the other starters. He's a younger guy, so obviously he doesn't. I think he would need a little bit more preseason rather than some of the other veteran players there. So maybe that gives him a little bit more run. It'll be interesting to see if Bobo gets a little bit more run in this game as well. We'll see. We don't have a strong feeling on that game just yet, but I wish we did. And then moving on to the Lakers. So both LeBron James and Anthony Davis are only expected to play about a half. So I think we can schedule that in for right around, 17, 15 minutes or so. Obviously, that's enough for them both to be able to hit value, especially at this price point. But I don't know if that's something that we should really hang our hat on. I would rather chase someone like Montrezl Harrell, who's a lot more cheap, and he's a guy that's obviously played really well thus far in the preseason. I mean, he's a career-wise point per minute player. We just know that with him. Just been spectacular throughout his career. Obviously, he had right around 30 minutes in their first game, played well, had a double-double, and then also in their last game, played right around 30 minutes at 27 minutes, had a double-double as well. For me, at that price point, that's going to be tough for me to ignore. Now, sure, maybe with AD and LeBron back, he only plays right around 20 minutes or so. I'm fine with that, but kind of buried the lead here with the Lakers. Their standout rookie players so far, Horton Tucker, they love him. They do. LeBron has complimented him a few times, and I get it. 41 minutes in their first preseason game. Okay, guys, if he gets that again, that's going to be tough to ignore. 33 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals. I mean, he padded that stat sheet. He looked good doing it. 37 minutes in their first game as well. 19 points scored, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals. So, yeah, this guy for me at 5.5 will still be tough to pass up on. I mean, if he's going to get those minutes, which it certainly seems like he is, because they don't want to stretch any of those other veterans out that they have there. I mean, they have a ton of veterans. I'm good with that. That makes a ton of sense to me. We'll say Quinn Cook also had 10, 11 shot attempts his first 2 preseason games. For me, that's very intriguing as well. Just if a guy gets hot with that many shot attempts, that's something that I do like a little bit. Now moving on into the Phoenix Suns. I would expect them to get a little bit more run than they did the previous 2 games for the Suns. Chris Paul, he didn't play in their first game. Cameron Payne ended up getting like 30 minutes or so. I don't think we have to worry about that in this one. In their last game, we saw 18 minutes. Didn't exactly do much with that. I would expect them to get right around 22 today. I think with the Suns, you'll want to get your starters mixing and gelling a little bit more today. Devin Booker, I don't mind. He saw 28 minutes. Obviously, if he's going to get those minutes, then we should just be locking him into our builds there tonight. Really tough to predict, but he did have 24 minutes in their first preseason game. So kind of for pay-up purposes, he's one of my favorite pay-up plays on the slate, along with Zach LaVine, just because it makes the most sense. Minutes-wise, he's a guy that's just going to chuck. He's a guy that's going to go out and be able to produce. Bridges here, I don't mind. It seems like he's going to get a decent amount of minutes here as well with some of those guys banged up. No reason to stress their injuries. Obviously, they want to be full strength for the beginning of the season. He should see right around 25 minutes. If he does that, he should get right around 25 DK points. Don't mind him as a play. Nothing that you go out of your way to play, but if you end up on him, makes a ton of sense to me. That's kind of it for me. Nothing too much that I love other than that. If you end up on someone like DeAndre Ayton, I'm good with it. He should get right around 25 minutes here as well, like he has the first 2 preseason games. Obviously, if he does that, he could easily get a double-double in this one. Still, the price point I don't love, but you should be locking in right around 25 DK points with someone like DeAndre Ayton tonight. But that is it here. Let me try to give you guys a little quick build here, kind of just to finish it off. As you can see here, I actually feel pretty good about this build. There's no reason to leave that much salary left over. So I will say I'll try to get to Devin Booker here. Let's get creative with it. So Kobe White. Devin Booker. Let's see, RJ Barrett. Can we put him in the small forward? We can. That is perfect. Because we're going to put Zach LaVine in the shooting guard spot. And then we'll go back to the well with, where is he? RJ Barrett, 5.5. Got to make one slight lineup adjustment here. Who should we change? I really like Randall. I really like Noel at that price point. Don't really want to change those guys. Really like this side as well. Maybe Montrezl Harrell doesn't get as much work, and maybe he's the guy that we go off of here. Don't exactly feel good about it, but you could do that. We'll see. We'll throw in Bridges for now. Maybe we go off of Booker and balance it out a little bit more. We'll see. Obviously, the news will change throughout the day, and we can decide from there what we want to do. Maybe throw in Chris Paul. Hopefully, he gets hot. We'll see. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give me a like and subscribe. I do appreciate that. And as always, guys, let's keep cashing. All right, thanks. We're out.